Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made this mystical, magic, celestial, witchy tumbler for a really good friend of mine. She's a business mentor and now somebody I'm proud to call my friend. She's a writer and a tarot reader, and I knew I needed to create something that really fit her vibe, and this sort of magic hand celestial style tumbler was a perfect fit. This is a Peekaboo Tumbler. I'm going to give you all of the steps. Everything as far as supplies goes are underneath this video, as well as a bunch of discount codes for you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my upcoming tutorials. I've got a lot of really fun ones coming your way. Let's get started. So I have this 20-ounce traditional tumbler from Craft Haven, and I'm going to apply my glitter with Bright Tone. I like to use a brush and I like to hold my tumbler, but you can do this in whatever way makes you happy. So you can see I have a lighter pink, a light purple, and a dark purple spray painted ombre. Make sure you wait 48 hours before you add any Bright Tone on top of spray paint. So once I got my cup all covered, I went in with my glitter. This is one of my favorite opal glitters. It is called Golden Opal from alisoncrafts. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on my tumbler. I try to keep it light as I don't want like a ton of glitter piling up. So I just tap it on lightly, just enough to get full coverage, but not too much where you get like a ton of glitter buildup. So once you cover the tumbler, you'll see that you can still see that spray paint through. That's what an opal glitter does. It has that glitter and a couple sparkles of different colors, but you can see the pink and the purple underneath it. You can still see that ombre. So what I like to do is then take an old gift card and tap down my tumbler. And I do this because you really want to get the glitter super flat. So just go with an old gift card. You can use your finger, but I find using a gift card is a little bit easier. And once you do that, let it dry your 4 hours and get this cup fully and completely smooth. Go through the process of doing your coats of Bright Tone and sanding and getting that cup fully smooth before you start the Peekaboo. So to do this tumbler, I actually downloaded a big file of a bunch of different SVGs from Creative Fabrica. I have a subscription there and I can't recommend it enough, but if you just want to check out this specific file, I will link it underneath this video. So I downloaded it, I extracted it, and I'm going to use Silhouette Studio to create a rough draft of my design. So what I did was I measured my tumbler and figured out exactly like how far around it was and how tall it was. Just kind of a rough estimate so I can plan out this tumbler before I cut it. Now I know I'm not going to actually wrap the tumbler, but it gives me a good idea of what size my decal should be. And I opened a few different pieces that came in that file to use on that tumbler. So I'm just going to copy and paste it over to my new document where I am creating this sort of template. I knew I wanted this hand to be sort of like the center of attention, so I put it in the middle and then I went to fill in everything around. In some of these, I didn't take the entire design, but I copied what I wanted from that and pasted it into my other document. You don't have to use every element in each file, but just use what you like. Once you fill up your space and it looks pretty much how you want it to look, you're going to cut it out. Now you're going to cut two different things. All of these detailed cuts are going to be what I'm going to cut in black vinyl. But first we need to add the vinyl for our Peekaboo. And the way I do that is I use the trace feature, and I'm just going to trace my whole image, like everything I have there, and it's going to pop up. And then I'm going to press Trace Outer Edge. And when I do that, it'll just leave me with the pieces that I want to cut in removable vinyl. So I'm just going to move my details out of the way and make room for my not detailed cuts. This is going to be removable vinyl, and it's what's going to create that Peekaboo process. So I'm going to cut two different things, one without details and one with. So here is what that first set looks like. This has no details, and this is just yellow removable vinyl. You can use any color vinyl. It really doesn't matter, but I'm just using my transfer tape to get this on my tumbler. You do need to make sure that your tumbler surface is completely smooth before you start this peekaboo. So I have already gone through all of my coats and sanding, and I have a super smooth surface before I add this vinyl. And a lot of these little pieces are giving me a hard time, so you're not alone if that gets a little frustrating for you. I did place several of them with my pin pen, my weeding tool, just to help myself out. So all I did was put them in the general area that I cut them out on, but again, I'm not physically wrapping the tumbler, I am placing them one by one. You do want to make sure that you are getting them nice and flat because you really don't want any paint to seep under there. So I do recommend using a good transfer tape. I get mine on Amazon and one of these squeegee tools to get it nice and flat. But just, you know, keep placing the vinyl where you want it. If you happen to not like where you want it or you feel like you need more stuff, you know, this is removable vinyl, so you can always take it off. You can always cut more. I added these little moons and stars to fill in some of these spots, but it would still go with the overall theme. Once I got all of that vinyl on, I went outside and sprayed it with this silver lilac spray paint. If you don't have spray paint, you can make your own version. If you wanted to check out my live stream, I will link it right now. Once it is dry, you can do this as soon as, 2 hours after you apply it, or you can wait a little bit longer. You're going to remove all of the vinyl pieces. Now, this one took me a really, really, really long time because I had so many of those small little pieces. But if you're smart, you will, do less of the small pieces and just remove all of that removable vinyl. Then the next step is to cut the detailed version of that same image. So you can see I cut all of my detailed SVGs out on black vinyl and spent an hour or so weeding all of these little pieces. Again, this is a super awesome cup, but just be prepared that you're going to spend a lot more time dealing with the vinyl pieces than the actual rest of the cup. So get everything fully weeded and ready to go on your tumbler. I picked up with my transfer tape just like one piece at a time and then carefully place it over the portion of the tumbler. Remember, this is going to line up with your spots that you already pulled up. They should be the exact same size. It doesn't have to lay exactly perfect on your tumbler. It's okay if it's like a little bit off. It still looks really good. Just do your best with placing your pieces. You can, do one at a time just to really make sure that they're in the right spot and that they're laying flat. It can be hard, especially on a cup like this. This is a 20-ounce traditional from Craft Haven, and you can use my discount code that's underneath this video, but the 20-ounce traditional tapers a little bit more than some other tumblers, so it can be a little bit harder to place your vinyl. You don't want the decals too big. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues with it sort of folding in on each other. So what happened to me was I realized that after I put this hand on, I had a little bit of a bump in my vinyl, so I had to actually take it off and try again. And that's okay. You can always try to do things again. Vinyl will come off. I have this tumbler. I put the black vinyl on it, and I really like it. It just feels like it's missing a little something. Like I really wanted to use this purple spray paint, and I think it works well with the Opal over the purple glitter. The Opal glitter over the purple spray paint, but I don't know, I'm feeling like it needs a little something, so I'm gonna do a little power wash and hope that it turns out. So to do the power wash method, you need Dawn Power Wash, and then I actually use 3 different spray paints. I have a light purple, and I have one of these silver metallic finishes, and I also have a dark purple. So what I needed to do was I didn't want to cover up any of that glitter, so I went heavy over the decals. Not like 100%, but I really focused my power wash on top of where you can see the glitter, so I could fill in the space in between. If I didn't already have this, if I knew I was going to do the power wash in advance, I would have done it before I removed that removable vinyl, but I just didn't know at the time. So I went in with my purple and my silver and I rinsed it away with some water. I just do it outside with the hose. And then you can see that it all comes together. It just gives it a little bit of extra texture that it really needed. Let your spray paint dry for 48 hours and finish up with your coats of bright tone. If you want to learn more about the power wash technique, I have a step-by-step tutorial up on your screen.